Hey family, hey family, hey family. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Darlene A. Anderson here, entrepreneur, personal and professional development consultant, author of Not Without a Fight, 10 Ways to Win When It Appears You've Already Lost, and your social media friends. Happy Friday. Okay, family, we have a lot to cover today, and I'm gonna dive right into it in a second. But before I do, first order of business, if you are joining me for the very first time, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. If you are a returning viewer, you know I appreciate you just the same. As a collective, I ask that we like, share, and subscribe accordingly, and click that notification bell so you can be in the know of the latest happenings as they are happening. Okay, family, let's get into the order of business. Second item on the list: who you are, what you do, and what makes you different. Those three questions. I came out on Wednesday and I stated that one of my clients asked me if those three questions was equally as important for personal development as it was for professional development. And my answer was yes, absolutely. It is equally important, if not greater. During my journey towards entrepreneurship, I realized a couple of things. One of which was I didn't know who I was. So the other was I wasn't making those connections with people on an individual level. I was able to bring people together in groups, have great events, have hosts come in, pour into people. I was a great mistress of ceremonies. I was a great host. Many of you out here have been to a lot of my events. But when it came to one-to-one, it was very far and few that I was retaining clients. And I had to sit back and ask myself, why? A couple of things I had to do. I'm going to share 5 areas of personal development specific to myself that I hold near and dear, and maybe you'll consider them as well. The first was exploration of self. I really had to sit down and think about who I was. I knew I was a mom. I knew I was a daughter. I knew I was a sibling, a leader, a social advocate, a woman of God. I knew all of these things about myself, but they were just titles. They were titles. They were descriptions. They were roles that I played. I didn't know who I was. I literally had to go down a path of exploration to really know who I was, why I did the things that I did. Was it cultural? Was it something that, I picked up along the way from friends or family? Was it innate? It was just so much. I had to explore who I was as it related to my DNA, my makeup, my family history. I am the matriarch of my family on my paternal side. There is no other family member outside of myself. My siblings don't like that, but you know what? It's true. So I hold that card when I want them to do what I want them to do. Aside of that, I really had to explore who my family was. I didn't have my dad here, any aunts, any uncles, any grandparents to really sit down and tell me where I came from. So I started with Ancestry.com. I need to learn a little bit more about myself. Outside of that family, the next thing I took into consideration was my spirituality. What grounded me? What were my morals and values and principles that I lived by? And I'm not just talking about from the perspective of what my grandmother, my maternal grandmother told me, where I was first introduced to Christianity. I really needed to understand spirituality for myself. And I will use spirituality and Christianity interchangeably, because for me, my spirituality lies in my Christianity, but someone else, that may be a different story. So maybe your spirituality lies in the universe. Maybe it lies in a different religion, but having a core value, something that you live by, something that you're grounded by, is extremely important for how I handle others, like really what my service is to mankind, and how I treat myself, my body, my temple. All of that was important, and I needed to go deeper within my spirituality, which led to more meditation. It really resulted in me spending more time by myself, really just getting away from everybody, blocking out the world. That could be getting up in my own home, spending time by myself, That can be going on a nature walk. That could be going away, spending time in a hotel by myself, just really thinking, journaling, planning. Meditation was really important for me as it relates to personal development. The next thing that I needed to ensure was that I received good mentorship. I speak about mentorship so very often in my prior videos. In order to be in alignment with great mentorship, you have to be on the path of knowing who you are. You don't have to have all of the answers, but if you haven't taken time to explore who you are and really know or have an understanding of where you believe that God is taking you, then, and that could be the universe as well, just respecting those that aren't as religious as I am or spiritual to the degree of, again, Christianity. But if you don't have a sense of your inner self and be able to explain that to someone, then you're not going to be in alignment with a great mentor. There are so many people, and it's not to take away from good mentors, but there are so many people that will say that they are a mentor, but their only agenda is to get you to do what they want you to do rather than helping to bring out what is innate in you. So that's something to be mindful of when you're looking for a mentor. Really explore what mentorship looks like for you. And in most cases, you don't have to look far. When you are developing personally, you will be in alignment with individuals that can assist you. I've said it a number of times. It's like the heavens will open up and just pour down resources for you. So mentorship is extremely important and was for me in my personal development. The next thing that I wanted to share was reframing. Reframing those negative thought patterns that don't do you any good. Reframing, like taking out all of that negative stuff from childhood, from in your 20s and 30s that someone has told you, from hearing it from other people, from false beliefs about ourselves. As one of my professors always says, that's stinking thinking. You have to release yourself of that. Now, reframing for me, and it looks different for others, but for me, it was through mental health counseling. I'm very open in sharing my experiences in mental health counseling presently and hopefully in the future. I've told many of you out here, if you haven't known already, I am pursuing my master's in mental health counseling. I take mental health extremely seriously. That being stated, being in alignment with a great counselor that's not judgmental, that's able to say, I can understand why you think like that. I can even understand, that could have been a part of your upbringing, maybe your culture, maybe even in work. I can understand where you picked that up at. But have you ever considered this? And having someone say that in a non-judgmental way and then stating, why don't you consider this? Why don't you consider that? Why don't you journal it? Why don't you schedule it? That really has helped me get some of those thoughts in my head, like compartmentalize it, and then even so, change my thinking about it and move forward. Reframing has really helped me, family, down my journey of personal development. And I share that with you. So, I've given you 5 pillars to take into consideration as it relates to working towards positive personal development. I hope that it's something that you can utilize, if not all, at least one. And think about this. What works for you? You don't have to use any of these pillars, but really sit down and ask yourself this question. Who am I? What do I do? And what makes me different personally? And if you can't answer any of them, then you have to incorporate some form of structure to explore them for yourself. I wish you all an amazing Friday, a great weekend, and I'll see you all back out here on Monday for Motivational Monday with me, Darlene A. Anderson. Be well.